Hey y'all, sorry I look a mad hot mess, but I always pull my hair up when I cook, even if it's just for my family, because nobody likes hair in their food and it's making my glasses really shiny. Okay, so I'm a hot mess because I'm in like sports clothes. It's 10:44 at night and I'm going to make just a couple of Jackson's favorite foods. I'm going to make my applesauce and I'm going to make sweet potatoes in this I'm gonna make pears too. Kind of like a pear sauce, like applesauce with a pear sauce. I think hopefully I'll have time. I can also make my, so Jackson right now, I feel like my brain's all over the place. I've been doing a million things tonight. Right now, Jackson is getting a new tooth. So when he's not teething like a new tooth, he wants, like he'll eat regular food, like table food, and he still likes his purees. When he's getting a tooth, the only way I can get him to eat is purees. So we're in a puree mode. So I figure this would be good for your babies that are still in purees, or if your baby's like Jackson with like no teeth. He has one full tooth and then like a half a tooth that's come out. And I don't know where else the other tooth's coming from, but it's coming. So he has always been able to gum food, but I know a lot of babies that only have like two teeth don't do good with food like he does. So maybe this will help you guys out. Along the way, I'll tell you guys how to make apples for your babies that are in like stage 1. And also I'll kind of briefly go over how you can make sweet potatoes for stage 1. But because we're not in stage 1, I'm going to be sauteing stuff and baking stuff, and I'm just going to get into this. Y'all, if you see my stove is dirty, don't judge me. I clean it at the end of the night, and I cook dinner on it. And now I'm cooking again, so I'll clean it after. Okay, this is everything I'm cooking with right now. These I won't cook probably. But he likes grapes pureed. I might use them with the pears, but basically because bananas can be constipating, I like to blend them with a fibrous thing, such as like a fruit, such as a pear or an apple. But the strawberries and blueberries, I'm going to kind of be making, I guess you could call it like a syrup, but there's no sugar. But I'm going to be breaking it down and blending it. And then I've got my organic quinoa, sweet potatoes, apples, pears, spinach. You guys will see how it comes together. His applesauce actually has quinoa and spinach, and it sounds really strange, but you can't taste it, and it's extra punch of protein. I also wash most of my fruit and vegetables and everything with the Honest Fruit and Veggie wash. And strawberries, if I'm trying to keep them fresh, I rinse them in a little vinegar and with some water. Same thing for any kind of berries, even grapes, that works for it, keeps it fresher longer. But we're cooking it, so it's not a big deal. But I'm gonna wash all this and then I'll go to the next step. I'm gonna get these two things in the oven. This is my pears, this is my apples. It seems like a lot of cinnamon, but it's not. It's only on top. There's like a lot of apples underneath. Once it really gets baked nicely, then I will toss it. The pears, I don't put anything. I don't add sugar or butter or anything like that because babies don't need that. They're good with the natural sugars of fruit, and if you raise them on that, then they're never going to crave that bad stuff. For me, like, I am addicted to sugar, and I don't want that for Jackson. It's really hard. So yeah, we've been focusing on not adding sugars and stuff to stuff I make at home, so that we're all eating the same thing and it's not like, oh, you get different food. So I don't know if that makes sense, but they don't need sugars or anything like that. I'm just gonna bake them like this. I bake at 375 and I just keep watching them. I think I decided I'm gonna add some grapes to his pears and bananas, maybe a little spinach. But for right now, I'm going to cut these. They're all going to be blended, so I'm just going to cut the stems off, throw this and this into the pan over there. My quinoa is cooking, so that's what I'm doing now. So this is going to be my syrup. You just want to cover the bottom of the pan with water. I don't know if y'all can see how much. You don't want to fill water all over the top, but you want to start with water in there to help break the fruit down. So this will be used to mix into his oatmeal to sweeten his oatmeal, kind of like a natural sweetener. Usually we just cut fruit and put in his oatmeal, and I'll use this, and we'll use the grapes and make like a fruit salad for him to eat. But like I said, right now with him not wanting to eat anything solid, that's just what we're going with. Also, I make this sometimes as a syrup for our pancakes. So if I want to put a little bit on his pancakes or waffles, then you can. I forgot to say the kind of the kind of apples I'm using are Honeycrisp. They're extremely, extremely, extremely sweet apples, and they're perfect for blending like spinach and quinoa and hiding, the healthy punch. Even though he loves spinach and quinoa, it makes it taste like applesauce without any added sugars. So there's Honeycrisp, and then my pears were Bartlett's. So I'm going to get this cooking. You're just going to cover it and let it cook, like simmer. Okay guys, I told you I was going to go over how to make this food for tiny babies. So basically steam. Like if you have a 4-month-old and you're introducing solids, or 5 or 6 or whatever, you want to start out kind of not too many flavors and stuff. I mean, if you're baby led weaning, this is not a baby led weaning video. I have nothing against it. Jackson was eating like food cut up very soon after he started solids as well. So this is not like anti-baby led weaning. I'm just saying this is not a baby led weaning video. So if you're starting solids, like you were to go to the grocery store and buy them stage 1 food, sweet potatoes, you just want to dice like I did, and you want to get a steamer basket. I'm going to show you guys my steamer basket. I'm so sorry, my kitchen is a mess. It's like embarrassing. Okay, this does not go here. The steamer basket like this, I paid like $5 at the grocery store. I set it into this pot. Just set it in, you put water in the bottom, and you steam whatever it is you're making. So you want to dice up the sweet potatoes and steam them till they're tender. Once they're tender, you don't want to overcook them because they lose too much. They lose a lot of, if you overcook them, they lose a lot of nutrients. So you want to do that, and then you want to blend them into a puree. In stage 1, you're going to want to thin it out. If they're in stage 2, it can be thicker, but in stage 1, you're going to want to blend it out a lot. Breast milk, formula, water. Those are things you can thin them out with. So you don't want to add anything like cinnamon or whatever, like any kind of spice, when you're in stage 1. Stage 1 apples, you're going to peel them. I didn't peel my apples because we're not in stage 1. You're going to want to peel them and very lightly steam them until they've just turned tender, and then just blend them. Stage 1 apples right there. You don't need to add anything to apples. They're very like watery fruit, so they're going to blend out pretty thin. So, okay. Onward to the sweet potatoes. These are my sweet potatoes. I'm going to be adding them into this dish with coconut oil. It's quite a lot of coconut oil, but it's quite a lot of sweet potatoes. So what I'm basically doing is I'm sauteing his sweet potatoes, and then I'm going to add a little cinnamon, but we'll get there in a second. So you just want to coat, see how much less oil it looks like. You just want to coat the sweet potatoes into the coconut oil. I'm pretty sure by now everyone knows the benefits of coconut oil. I don't have to explain it. Some people would do this with butter, I don't know, other stuff. I just use coconut oil to cook. It's quite a lot because babies need healthy fats like omega-3 fats and just healthy fats like coconut oil, avocados, stuff like that. So I'm going to let that kind of saute, and I'm going to add a little cinnamon, and then I'll show you guys my next step. I've got my fruit kind of boiling, or not boiling, but it's breaking down, and my quinoa is done. I'm going to check the apples and stuff in a second. With the apples, I forgot to tell y'all, I did a thin amount of water in the bottom of the dish just to keep it from burning while it breaks down. I didn't do that with the pears because the pears cook really fast. Can y'all hear the sweet potatoes hissing? That is when I add cinnamon, and then I toss it, and then I'll show you guys the next step. So added that, I'm going to toss it, then I'm going to add water and cover it. So then after they kind of saute a little bit, they boil and soften. I'm using a lot of cinnamon tonight because cinnamon is a natural anti-inflammatory, which is going to help with his teething. Okay guys, this is my baby food magic. You don't need special baby blenders. You can buy this and you can use it for so much more crap, like smoothies and stuff with individual cups. It's got 2 different blades. It's so much more useful in the long run than those baby things, you know, the baby bullet. I have had this for 11 years. Got it for my wedding. Magic bullet. It is amazing. When I want to chop stuff or grind stuff, while this will do it, I just like to use my little mini Cuisinart. You don't need a big food processor. So I use it a lot for cooking other stuff too, but you could get away with making baby food with just this. So here's my sauce syrup stuff. I'm letting it cool a little bit. You can also use this like hot. Like you can use it for soups and stuff too. It withstands heat. So, but I'm still gonna let this cool because I don't want it quite steaming when I pour it. But I'm gonna do all my sweet stuff first, and then I'm gonna do the other stuff like the sweet potatoes, because it doesn't matter. He's had all this food. I don't have to worry about like, oh God, he's never had that. I can't let it cross-contaminate, which you should pay attention to when watching for allergies when you start baby food. This is my syrup mix. All done. So some I will store in the mason jar in a fridge so we can use it this week, and the rest I will freeze for later. And then I'm just going to reuse the container to do the pears. Pears are next. So this is some of my bananas, grapes, and pears. Ooh. These are these little munchkin feeders. They have a slit right there for the babies to feed themselves. But I like to fill them with stuff and freeze it as like a special little treat for his teething. So I'm going to put some of this in these 3. I have 3 of them. And then I set them like that and let them freeze in the freezer and just leave them till he needs them. And then I'm going to add some quinoa to the pears just to add a little protein in there. All this is the pears, grapes, and quinoa, and banana. Anything with banana, I freeze right away. Jackson cannot stand citrus, so putting lemon in it or a little citric acid does not work because he gags. He hates any kind of citrusy stuff. Doesn't look like a lot of spinach cooked down, but it is. It was like up to here with spinach. So I cooked down my spinach because I'm a little bit paranoid of E. coli in spinach. So I get nervous feeding him fresh spinach. I'll feed him frozen spinach sometimes in a smoothie, but I usually cook down his spinach. It looks like such a little amount, but y'all know how spinach is when it cooks down. So here's the apples. They look so good. And I ended up putting some foil on top like 15 minutes before I pulled it out, just because I made so many apples this time. It's like they weren't cooking fast enough. It was driving me crazy. So I moved his sweet potatoes over there, and I'm going to start making this food. So you guys see all that juiciness from the apples. What I like about now baking them is that it keeps their natural sweetness and helps sweeten it, so you don't even taste the quinoa or spinach. But yeah. So that's all my applesauce. This is going in the fridge. Freeze. I actually eat this too. It's so good. Sorry about the running water. I eat this too, so that's why I made so much. It's so delicious. Okay, y'all, I forgot to show it, but basically I put the sweet potato in with some quinoa and a little bit of distilled water because it is kind of thick. This is like super thick. For stage 1, you want to just steam the sweet potatoes, add water, breast milk, or formula, whichever you choose, and you're gonna want it to be a thinner puree so they don't choke on it. So anyways, that is that, and that is my baby food for the night. It is almost 1 a.m. I'm going to bed. Well, I have to clean, and then I'm gonna go to bed. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.